Brahma Samhita ki
Yeah.
jai. So, shall we do the 40th verse again, Prabhuji? Wasn't recorded last time.
Yes, that's good. Yes.
Okay, if we have time, we can do the 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I start.
Yes, please.
Brahma Samhita, text 1. Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Translation. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all, he has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. Navi Prabhu, would you like to do this one? Expertise.
Yeah. Chintamani Prakarasat Lakshavate Shishmanavi Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhava Sevana Govindavadi Purusha I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires, in a world's built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of lotus trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or gopis.
Thank you. Staram Prabhu, would you like to do text 30?
Hare Krishna to everyone. Venum Kwanantamaravinda Barhavatam Sam Asitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakotikamani Avisesa Sobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Hare Krishna.
Translation, Prabhu, can you read?
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, sure. Would you like to do text 31?
Yes, Mataji. Alola Chandrakala Sadva Namalya Vamshi Ratnam Datam Pranayake Litala Virasam Shyamam Tribanga Litam Yata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Damaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, around whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always reveals in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shamasundara is eternally manifest.
Thank you. Sunil Prabhu, would you like to do text 32?
Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chinmaya sat ujjvala vigrahasya govindam adipurusham tam aham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantially, and is thus full of most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fleshed function of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
Thank you, Prabhu. By Tina Prabhu, would you like to do text 33?
Adittam Achyutam Nadimantharupam Adyam Puram Vishambhavanam Vedeshu Dullabam Dullabam Atmavaktam Govindam Purusham Tamaham Bhajan. I worship God, the primary who is inaccessible to the world, but obtainable by pure and unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose home is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purush. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
Prabhu, text 34, Chichavi. Antastu koti shatavatsara samtagamyo Vayo rathapi manaso munipuntavangam Sopyasti yata prapada simya vichincha tatve Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govind, the primal Lord. Only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogi who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayam. By drilling the respiration or by the jnani who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years. Sitaram Prabhu, you do text 85.
एको अपि असुरचयित्वं जगत् अन्धकोटिं यक्षक्तिरस्ति जगत् अन्धचाव यान्तः अन्धन्तरस्था परमानु चावतारस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Translation, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Lokeshwar, text 36. Lokeshwar, are you here?
Yes. Yadbhava bhavito diyo manujastathaiva sampraparupamahima sanayana bhusha sutaryameva nigama pratithaistuvanti govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Translation. I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are endued with devotion sing the mantra sukta told by the Vedas by gaining the appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
Thank you. Text 37, Gananjali. आनन्द चिन्मय रस प्रतिभाविताभिः ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord,
residing in his own realm, Golok, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the aesthetic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily figure, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rest.
Hmm. Sunil Prabhu, would you like to do text 38?
Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Sham Sundar, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their hearts of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love.
Thank you, Prabhu. Text 39, Chitravi. रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमे प्रतिष्ठन् नानावता मकरोदभुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्णा स्वयं सभवत् ब्रह्मभून्मानयो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govind, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatar in the world in the forms of Ram, Narsimha, Vaman, etc. as his subjective portion. Thank you. Text 40. Yasya prabha prabhavatu jagadandakoti कोटिष्वशेषवसुधादिविभूतिभिन्नम् तद्ब्रह्मनिष्कलमनन्तम् अशेषभूतम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I read the word one by one. Yasya, yasya, prabha, prabha, prabhavatu, prabhavatu, jagad, jagad, anda, anda, koti, koti, kotishva, kotishva, shesha, kotishva, shesha. So these two words you can combine them. Kotishva, shesha, vasudhadi, vasudhadi, vibhuti, vibhuti, bhinnan, bhinnan, tad, tad, brahma, brahma, nishkalam, nishkalam, anantam, anantam, ashesha, ashesha, bhutam, bhutam, govindam, आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतु जगदन्धकोटि कोटिष्वशेषवसुधादिविभूतिभिन्नन् तद्ब्रह्मनिष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Yes, Napi Prabhu.
Yasya Bhava Bhagavato Jagadanta Koti Bhuti Shvashesha Sudadi Vibhuti Brahmanishkanantamasheshabhutam Govindamapurusham bhajami.
Ram Prabhu.
यस्या प्रभा प्रभवतो जगत् अंधकोटि कोटिस्वे अशेष वसुधति विभूतिभिन्नम् तत् ब्रह्म निष्कलम् अनन्तम् अशेषभूतम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। Hare Krishna.
Yukeshwar.
Yasya prabha prabhavato jagandakoti kotishvasheshavasudha vibhuti bhinam tad brahma nishkalam ananta ashesha bhutam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami.
Sunil Prabhu.
यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगत् अंधकोटि कोटिशेष वसुधादि विभूति भिन्नम तत् ब्रह्म निष्कलम अनंतम अशेष भूतम गोविंदम आदि पुरुषम तम अहम भजामि.
Synonyms. Yasya, of whom. Prabha, the effulgence. Prabhavatah, of one who excels in power. Jagat Anda, of universes. Koti Kotishu, in millions and millions. Ashesha, unlimited. Vasudha Adi, with planets and the other manifestations. Vibhuti, with opulences. Bhinnam, becoming variegated. Tat, that. Brahma, Brahman. Nishkalam, without thoughts. Anantam, unlimited. Ashesha Bhutam, being complete. Govindam, Govinda. Adi Purusham, the original person. Tam, him. Aham, I. Bhajami, worship. Translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in the Upanishads, being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe, appears as the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth. Purport. The mundane universe created by Maya is one of the infinite external manifestations accommodating space, time, and gross things. The impersonal aspect of Godhead, the non-differentiated Brahman, is far above this principle of mundane creation. But even the non-differentiated Brahman is only the external effulgence emanating from the boundary wall of the transcendental realm of Vaikuntha, displaying the triquadrantal glory of Govinda. The non-differentiated Brahman is indivisible, hence is also one without a second, and is the infinite and residual entity. Okay, any comments, Samuji?
Krishna. Krishna also confirms in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahmanohi Patistam, I think 14:27, it says that I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman. Unfortunately, a lot of philosophers put it the other way around, that Brahman is the origin of the Supreme. But actually, Brahman is the effulgence of the Supreme, and this is confirmed by this verse and in the Bhagavad Gita. Important to understand because ultimately, Brahman is part of the spiritual whole, but it's not the complete part. And that's important to understand. The complete part of the spiritual whole is the Supreme Personality from whom this Brahman emanates. So if we don't understand that, then it's possible that we may not attain the supreme spiritual destination, and we may even try to merge with God or merge with this Brahman, and that would be quite not a good move, because in the Brahman there is not much activity, because the soul is very active. So it needs the activity of seva, service to the Supreme Personality, and attain the Supreme Personality. So this is really nicely explained in this verse and by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in this book. Anything you'd like to share, Karuna?
Yes, I'm just thinking about what a great, tremendous work Srila Prabhupada has done, because he has made accessible all these books. Very long back when I was a child, mother was telling us that we should be meditating on the impersonal aspect, on this effulgence. But then when we came to know about ISKCON, and we were hearing all these pravachan, the different lecture from different swamis, etc. So then we were learning different things. So little by little, everything is becoming much more clearer now, that what is Brahman, what is the Lord, who is the Lord, and who is the Supreme, who is the original. So yeah, wonderful. Our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, because all these wouldn't have been accessible if he wasn't here.
Very true.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we move to text 41?
Okay.
माया हि यस्य जगदन्धशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्यतद्विषयवेदवितायमाना सत्त्वावलम्बि परसत्त्वं विशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I read the words. Maya, Maya, he, yasya, jagad, anda, shatani, sute, traigunya, tad, vishaya, Veda, Vitayamana, Sattva, Valambi, Para, Sattvam, Vishuddha, Sattvam, Govindam, Adipurusham, Tamaham Bhajami. Maya hiyasya jagadanda shatani sute Traigunyatad vishaya veda vitayamana Sattvaavalambi parasattvam vishuddha sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yes, Aditya?
Satani Suti, Sattva Valambi Sattvam Shuddha Sattvam.
We can't hear you well, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Let me switch. Okay.
Jaram Prabhu.
Maya hi vasya, sorry, Maya hi yasya jagatand satam nisute tragunyatad visaya visaya veda vitaya manam satva valambi parasatyam visdha satyam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Hare Krishna.
Lokeshwar.
Maya hi yasya jaga anna satani sute Gunyatad Vishaya Veda Vitaya Mana Sarvalambi Parasadvam Visudha Sadvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Sunil Prabhu.
माया हि यस्य जगत अंड सत्तानि सूते त्रैगुण्यतत् विषाय वेद वितायमान सत्त्ववलम्बि सत्वं विशुद्धसत्वं गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि.
Synonyms. Maya, the external potency. He, indeed. Yasya, of whom. Jagat, under, of universal. Shatani, hundreds. Sute, brings forth. Traigunya, embodying the threefold mundane qualities. Tat, of that. Vishaya, the subject matter. Veda, the Vedic knowledge. Vitayamana, diffusing. Sattva avalambi, the support of all existence. Para sattvam, the ultimate entity. Vishuddha sattvam, the absolute substantive principle. Govindam, Govinda. Adipurusham, the original person. Tam, him. Aham, I. Bhajami, worship. Translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is the absolute substantive principle, being the ultimate entity in the form of the support of all existence, whose external potency embodies the threefold mundane qualities, viz. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and diffuses the Vedic knowledge regarding the mundane world. Purport. The active mundane quality of Rajas brings forth who generates all mundane entities. The quality of Sattva, mundane manifestive principle, in conjunction with the Rajas, stands for the maintenance of the existence of entities that are so produced. And the quality of Tamas represents the principle of destruction. The substantive principle, which is mixed with the threefold mundane qualities, is mundane, while the unmixed substance is transcendental. Quality of eternal existence is the principle of absolute entity. The person whose proper form abides in that essence is alone an alloyed entity, non-mundane, supermundane, and free from all mundane qualities. He is cognitive bliss. It is the deluding energy who has elaborated the regulative knowledge Vedas, bearing on the threefold mundane quality. Okay.
This is quite a tough verse.
Oh yeah.
Essentially, the Lord is explaining, or Lord Brahma is explaining, that the Lord is the ultimate source of Maya, and the threefold qualities of Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun and he also is the source of the Vedic knowledge regarding this mundane world. And the purport is even more tougher to understand than the verse.
complex one.
Anything you'd like to share, Karuna?
I'm still trying to understand the purport. So is it that the Rajagun generates mundane entities?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then Sattva gun and Rajas gun maintain the entity.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm. The way I understood it is Satagun is the maintenance. So that's Vishnu in charge. The creative principle is Rajas, which is Lord Brahma, and the destructive principle is Tamas, which is Lord Shiva. And here they're talking about the mixture of, i.e., quality of sattva in conjunction with the rajas stands for maintenance of the existence of entities so produced. So I'm not quite sure where that comes from, but I think from Prabhupada we can understand that sattva is the maintenance, rajagun is the creative principle, and tamagun is destruction.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other comments?
Good.
Okay. Shubhama Samhita ki jai.
Jay, thank you, Karuna. Well done.